Hey guys, it's Sarah Gallagher here. Happy Friday afternoon. I am doing this live as a quick check-in because I got some information today, well, actually over the past week, and I want it to share with you. As I mentioned, I've been doing resilience training over the past week, actually past 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing 2 more weeks of this coming forward. And as I wanted to share with you what I have learned as I promised. You can see it's kind of gray screened out or blurred in the background. So I'm hoping it's not going to affect video quality. It's kind of might have a really it's a mess back there. Anyway, so this might I have to rearrange things later on. That's fine. This is the truth. This is me vulnerable as per usual. So what I want to share with you is something called the impacts of grief, and the reason why I wanted to share it with you because grief is trauma. Trauma affects not more just more than just one aspect of ourselves. We think, well, no, grief, we're all sad all the time. But as we know, grief is more than that, right? The trauma actually affects us so more than just sadness. Grief is all the different emotions and the traumatic impact of how that has on your life. And if you've been following me over the past couple of weeks, I've been talking a lot about how there's the heart mind connection, about how you have to get those connected because your mind is often this fog, your heart is this whirlwind of emotions, and is trying to get those back to connect together again. And particularly what we're going to be focusing on, what we have been focusing on this week, and is going to be continuing over the next couple of weeks, is the resilience of how that is affecting you, how it affects your kids, and how you can help figure out what that means, not just for yourself, but for your kids, and to learn exactly how to stop it in its tracks. Okay, so this is something to help you. So I'm going to share my screen here because one of the things that I learned, and this is the diagram that I'm going to share with you guys, is that trauma affects so many different aspects of our life. And as a result of that, the impact on how it affects us shows up in all these different areas, these symptoms, so to speak. Maybe we should change the freebie for symptoms. I'm going to be showing you a PDF, a presentation. I just put this together really quick. It just shows you everything how it comes out, how trauma affects us, and how it comes out. And the reason why I want to share it with you is because if you can recognize these symptoms in yourself, how it reacts to yourself, you can see this in your kids as well. And over the next couple of weeks, at the very end, I'm going to be launching in about 2 or 3 weeks, relaunching how to raise your grieving children right. This is a package I've put together. It's a whole bunch of different videos, which I'm going to get into later. What about 2 or 3 weeks to make sure of this launch, I'm going to be putting together another presentation, another webinar. This one in particular, it's going to be how to help your kids in the schoolyard and their peer interactions. So in order to do that, what I wanted to be able to do to you today is say, here's this freebie. This is something I can give to you. This is the effects of trauma on you. And if you join up to be part of this webinar, I'm going to send you a link to the wait list. I want you to be able to, if you link on it, if you register to be put on the wait list to get told when this is happening, when scheduled up, you're also going to get this PDF free of charge. This is a freebie. So let me show you what this is before I go any further. So hang on, so let me share my screen. Oh, I had it here just a second ago. Oh my goodness. All right, here we are. We're sharing my screen. So can you see this? Let me check. Okay, you are. So what this is a trauma's impact. And I just put this together really quick. As you can tell, there is a lot of information here. There is a lot of stuff that's going on. You know what? I'm going to take myself out of the picture so you can see this entirely. So I'm going to show you. Can I actually go in here? I don't think I can I do this? No, I can't. I'm going to see if I can do it here. Okay, so as you can tell, there is a lot of stuff going on around here. As you can tell, we have emotional overwhelm. We have irritability. We have feeling out of body. We have shame. We have hopelessness and flashbacks and guilt. I mean, all of these are things that I can see for myself. I've felt over the past 9 years that I have dealing with trauma. And the funny thing about trauma is that it is not just a once and you're done kind of situation, right? As you probably know, when you go through a grief trauma kind of situation, all these things kind of show up without even noticing. You can't even see this. Hang on. Let me do this. Okay, that's better. All these things come up without you even noticing. So even if, for instance, if I highlighted here, the feeling unreal or out of body, this is something that happens a lot in your early grief, and it does affect you on not necessarily all the time, But there can be times when the big grief happens and the big trauma affects you, and you have these triggers, and all of a sudden you feel like you're not part of your body again. For me, I felt honestly like my fingers were falling apart or stretching apart from my hand, my hand was stretching apart from my wrist, and it kept going from that. So I dealt with that. I talked to a psychiatrist. I got some medication. I'm on Paxil. I'll be completely transparent about that. But then I started realizing things like irritability. If you're a solo parent, how often does this come up for you, right? Put your hand up. Irritability with your kids all the freaking time. How do you know if this is part of the trauma impact or not? Well, let's look at the bigger picture. Are you feeling the emotional overwhelm? Are you feeling the shame? Are you feeling the flashbacks? And again, this can come up right now, but let's take it back a bit. I'm gonna take us all of a sudden we do that. Now all of a sudden those two have gotten away. I felt I've dealt with those two. And then what happens? Well, then let's see, like a couple months later, all of a sudden I'm getting social anxiety. I don't want to be able to go out in public anymore because no one can understand me. I don't want to go out in public because I feel I have this great big light bulb over my face or my head saying, oh my God, I'm the widow, I'm the widow. And I don't want to talk to anybody about it because they're not going to get it. I don't want to go into it because they're not going to want to deal with it. And why would I want to deal with that again? So I know I'm talking too fast. I get very excited about this. Social anxiety, nightmares. Oh my goodness. Who hasn't actually dealt with nightmares? It is oh my God. So I know trying to go with sleep sometimes is one of our body's ways to deal with trauma. We'll fall asleep. But the idea of actually having a restful sleep doesn't happen. Why? Because we get nightmares. Why? Because our brains trying to deal with all this stuff. Why? Because we've gone through the effects of trauma. This can come up. This can go away, right? It can go away. They can come back again. How do you know it's all part of trauma? Because you have to look at the bigger picture. Now, I just wanted to show you this really briefly. I'm going to go back to here again so you can see my face. I just wanted to show you this really briefly because I want to show you that if you're dealing with any of these things, I bet you that's because of your trauma. And now that you know this and why it's important to know this is because once you identify which things, I'm going to go back to big again. I like that. Once you figure out which things are bothering you, then you can go, hey, this is a result of my trauma. I'm not going crazy. This makes sense. Let's go forward. The other reason why this is important is because once you figure out what these things are, you get to learn the resilience training, the resilience skills to learn how to deal with them. And as I mentioned, some of these can come and go, right? Some of them, sometimes they go away. Let's get started with some of them. Sometimes all of a sudden a new one will pop up. Let's say all of a sudden we have panic attacks that come up. And it's knowing how to deal with those. And I'm not going to say that there is a magic fix button because there isn't, but there are a lot of tools and tricks that you can use to help build up your resilience. There are short-term fixes. So when it hits you like a trigger, and there are long-term fixes. And I go over both of these in the program. So, and if you haven't heard it, I'm going to say this again. I'm launching in a couple of weeks or relaunching. This is the second time I'm doing this. It is a program. It is a 3 or 4 video program. I'm adding more to it all the time. I'll get into more of that in a second. It is a program called Raising Your Grieving Kids Right. A lot of it has to do with resilience, or at least there's going to be at least a big section on resilience. That's one of the videos, which I'll share with you later on if you want more information. But there's more into this program than just that. There is how to talk to your kids about death and how to deal with how kids grieve, because they grieve very differently than we are and than we do. There's how to find fathers figures. There is how to help your kids when they're too angry to help. Okay. But all of this, I'm launching this, and as a launch presentation, I'm going to be doing a webinar on how to help your kids in the classroom or in the playground, specifically with their peers. I am going to touch on the adult authority figures as well, being teachers or social workers or whatever, if they don't know how to take care of them, how to deal with it. This gives you the tools to help them in their peer interactions. Okay. If you sign up for this training, I'm going to put a link down to the wait list. If you put your name on the wait list, there's 2 things that are going to happen. First of all, you are going to be getting an email with more information for when I officially decide to put up this training. I'm still putting it together, so I cannot give you an exact date. I'm going to say about 2 to 3 weeks from now. But if you put your name on the wait list, you'll find out exactly when this training is. And again, this is about helping your kids in the playground. If That's the first thing. You'll get on the wait list. The second thing that's going to happen is that you're going to get a copy of this PDF. Okay. It's going to have all of this information of this. And again, there's a lot. So you can screen share this if you want. Like, if you want, like, take a screenshot. I don't care. But if you want a PDF of it that you can print out, and you can actually do it by hand or if with your kids by yourself on screen as well, because of PDF, what I recommend you do with this is circle which ones are affecting you. And I bet you that some of these you're going to go, I didn't realize that until you saw this. Okay. So those are the things I want you to talk about today. Is this a freebie? So I want you to get the freebie. How do you get the freebie? You sign up to go on the wait list for when I do the how I keep I forget what the exact title is, but I'm putting it together. The webinar is coming up, helping your kids in the playground. Okay. If you want to get part of that webinar, put your name on the list. You'll get this freebie. And then later on, you'll get even more information about all the other programs that's going to be part of this, the overall package. But for now, I was hoping this helps. Again, this is love you to have it. Put the link below. I'm going to stop talking. I got to go pick up my kids in a bit and I got to focus on the next thing. As you know, we're busy solo parenting. All right, guys, I hope this helped. Again, if anytime you want to talk to me individually, do reach out. I am here. I've been doing this for about almost 6 years now. I have widow coaching and mentoring, not just for widows, but for solo parents. I mean, we are a completely different situation altogether, right? We're doing both. Anyway, lots of hats, lots of things to juggle. I get it. I'm here. I can help you figure out how to get yourself out of that fog, have that life again, have that happiness again, and help your kids. So that's important too, as I know. All right, guys, I love you much. I'll talk to you soon. Let me know. Put your name on the waiting list. You'll get the freebie. Bye.